Hey there, we're grilling up some great steaks today. Virginia Hazlett's here from the Beef Council, and we're going to talk about rub. And I think people, when they think, rub, they get all nervous about it, and they think they need to run to the store to buy some special rub. Not true. You can make your own rub, and it just really takes steaks and meat to the next level.
It does. And yet, just like with burgers, we have people who say, just put my steak on the grill. I'll put a little salt and pepper on it when it comes off, and I'm happy.
Keep it simple, but I like that extra flavor. I really do.
I do too, and I think more of us have become more flavor oriented, and we like a little extra zip.
Yeah,
it's
so
just kind of fun. But
let's talk about the kind of steaks we have here.
Right. Well, we know that #2 favorite among American public to put on the grill is a steak.
Oh yeah.
So, and there are a variety of steaks out there. I kind of like a center cut chuck steak too, which is not quite as expensive. We've got the new flat iron steak, which I encourage people to look for.
They're great.
Right. They come from more in the chuck section. But the traditional steaks are still, we love them.
The beef tenderloin, the porterhouse, the ribeye.
Right.
This is my all-time favorite steak, actually.
Yep. Well, these are the T-bones, and then I have also a porterhouse. And this confuses people sometimes.
Yeah,
They say, what am I buying? So actually, there's a rule of thumb. To be called a T-bone, it has to have at least 1.25 inches. This is where the tenderloin muscle is.
Okay.
So we need to have 1.25 inches.
So we got a little
bit
of tenderloin here. Okay.
Right. That's what has to be there for it to be called that. Anything over that, then, they have the right to start calling that, which we have here, the porterhouse. So you can see how much of a, and now this is the tenderloin.
Yum.
So if I were to cut this out, this would become a tenderloin steak.
But I like this type of steak because you got a little bit of everything. I love the tenderloin, but I also like,
Yes.
the other side.
The other side. Now, and if we were to cut along this T-bone, here's the traditional T-bone, and if I were to cut this out along here, then this section here becomes known as the top loin steak.
Got it.
Or like a New York strip.
Yeah, that's what I was, okay.
Top loin or New York strip. Sometimes it's called Kansas City. I think it's Kansas City if you leave a little bone on it. And then on the grill right now, I've got a ribeye steak, which is a cut before T-bones.
Okay.
So you don't find any tenderloin, but you'll find some of that rib bone.
Everybody has their favorites. You know what you like.
They do.
This is a great one because you've got a little bit of everything.
Well, we find that people are still confused about, what am I buying?
It is confusing.
And it
is.
So the thing is, I don't necessarily need it. You need to take your measuring tape to the
to
the supermarket. But these are the rules. It is.
Really good to know.
It's good to know. And actually, what will happen is that the price will go up accordingly. So you'll pay more for a porterhouse than you're going to pay for a T-bone.
Got it. When I was growing up, they called this the cowboy steak. I grew up in Arizona.
Okay.
And that was you want a cowboy, a cowgirl, depending on the size. But basically, yeah.
Well, and I think too, thinking about the economy today, it's possible for us today. We can find some of the steaks that are not quite as thick anymore. We still get that great taste of steak, and I still love them to be about 2 inches thick. But you can buy them thinner, and they cook faster, but you still got that good flavor.
Yeah, they're really delicious. Let's talk about rubs.
Speaking of flavor, we got to talk about rub.
Yes.
Now, the rub that I have here is actually a barbecued rub. And as you said earlier, Amy, it's just interesting because most of these ingredients we've got in our cupboard someplace.
Right.
So we don't have to be paying
even though they have
$6 for a bottle.
an aisle of rubs these days. Basically, some sugar and some paprika and some spices.
Right. And we're going to start with some chili powder here.
Okay.
And this particular recipe, I think, takes a couple of tablespoons of that. And I'm just going to mix it right here on this dish so we can see the colors as they go together.
So chili powder.
And then we got chili powder.
I smell
and then
cumin.
we have to have some brown sugar.
Now that's I think important in a lot of the rubs is a little bit of sugar.
A little bit of sugar has to go
sweeten
in
it
there.
up.
And then we have to go with some cumin.
Cumin, which is that smoky flavor.
And I think we put about a tablespoon of that goes in too. Those good... Yes, you're right. The smoky flavor is what comes in there. And then we have to have some minced garlic.
Okay.
Of course. And I'm cheating here by using the stuff out of the jar.
That's okay.
But, we all probably keep this in the jar.
It's
so
great.
It's just
right
as well
in the fridge.
it is. So we'll add about a tablespoon. And I hate more because it's good.
A little more.
Yeah, a little more.
Yeah.
And then we're going to add some...
Worcestershire sauce?
Oh, I'm glad you said it. I can't say that word. I can never say that word.
We all have that. And again, all the stuff we have in our pantry.
And I think it's important, a hint on this, because some people just don't do that. It says in letters, shake the bottle.
I never do that.
See?
Well, I'm going to start shaking the bottle now. Shake it.
All those good extra herbs and spices go to the bottom. So you got to shake them up.
I'm going to start shaking it.
You got to shake them up.
Pinch of red pepper, should we do?
Yeah, pinch of red pepper. It takes only about a quarter of a cup, or a quarter of a teaspoon, I should say. A cup, we wouldn't be able to get near it, would we?
And a little bit of
Okay,
apple cider
and we're
vinegar.
going to put some cider vinegar
So
in
this
this
rub
one.
has it's a little bit of a wet rub.
It's a
There's
little
a dry
bit.
rub and a
You're
wet rub. Is
probably
that about
good there.
good?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think you're good there, and I'm just going to...
Which just
Yes,
makes
they are
it easier
dry
to
and wet.
kinda-
But do you realize that everything that we put in here is stuff that most of us have in our kitchens?
Absolutely. You don't have to run out and buy those. And you can
Oh, that looks
experiment,
good,
you know,
doesn't
as
it?
long as you've got a little sugar, a little, you know,
Absolutely.
just some
Brown sugar, extra chili powder if you like
garlic.
that.
Right.
And I heard whoopies from the camera crew when we said extra garlic.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But beef and garlic do go well together.
Now, when you put a rub on, how long do you want to let a rub sit on before you grill it?
Actually, a rub can just be put on and it can go to the grill.
Okay.
It's not a whole lot of weight and head up, but you could. Now, we have a choice. Should we grill the T-bone or should we join the porterhouse today?
Both. One for you, one for me.
Oh, and the staff is saying yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So we'll just, I just usually use my fingers to pat it on
Rub it all in there.
and rub it all on.
And sometimes I don't mind letting that rub sit on there for an hour or so in the fridge, just
Right,
to really
right.
let it get in there.
Well, you know,
But-
it's interesting because I was doing some reading and we like to say that you should probably keep things in the refrigerator just until they're ready to go on. But I found it interesting because Martha Stewart says to leave your steaks sit out for a short time before you put them on.
Well, I do that as well, just for a few minutes. You need to be careful because you put a steak on when it's ice cold, it's not going to cook as quickly.
Well,
you
what
know.
happens is that sometimes it's such a temperature change,
Right,
then you
right,
sear
right,
the outside
right,
edge so
right.
badly.
We've got one right here.
We do. We have got,
Beautiful. This is the ribeye.
this is the
Got some
ribeye.
corn on the cob. Even see some potatoes on the grill. That looks great, Virginia.
Yeah, so it's a whole wonderful meal.
Yum. Can
You know
hardly
that
wait.
the ribeye is considered man's favorite.
Yeah, that my husband Bob does love a ribeye.
Does
He
he love
does.
a ribeye? Well,
Yeah,
that
it's a
seems
guy
to be what
steak.
they say. So
Virginia, thanks
I'm
so
into my
much.
work. Yes,
This
enjoy
looks
beef
so
for
good.
the
Can't
summer
wait to
and
get those
enjoy
on.
those wonderful steaks.
I will, absolutely.
And
All the
remember beef.
recipes, yes. You can find it on our website, fox11online.com. Click on Living, they'll be right there. Or you can call the Beef Council, you'll send them out to people.
We will send those recipes. Yeah, they have to call 800-728-2333.
Buy me a knife and fork, I gotta dig
Oh,
in.
I know. If it's good, I'm drooling.
Thank you, Virginia.